turn down. Should be good. Yeah, should be live. What's up, everybody? We got 7 games tonight, so a decent slate. We've had a lot of short slates the last few days, but we finally got a decent slate tonight. 7 games. We're gonna go live for about an hour. We got 4 games starting at 7 Eastern, so in the next hour. So we'll go up till pretty much 7 o'clock. We'll talk through, plays I like. Look at some injury news. Keep an eye on starting lineups because we should be getting a lot of starting lineups over the next 30 minutes or so. Pacers, Sixers, Hawks, Pistons, all these games. We should be getting some lineups, and there's some injury news in some of these games. The Sixers don't have Tyrese Maxey tonight, so going to be interested to see who starts in place of Maxey. There could be some value there if they start someone who maybe, the books weren't expecting to start. Not much injury news in the Hawks, Pistons, Cavs, Wizards, not much there. And then we are waiting for confirmation on the Hornets. They're without LaMelo. It looks like KJ Simpson's going to start for them, but we'll see what happens there, if KJ Simpson starts or not. But what's up, guys? Hope you guys are doing well today. We got 7 games. If you guys have any questions for tonight, just throw those in chat, and we'll answer some questions over the next hour or so. Talk through a couple plays I like. And again, we'll keep an eye on some injury news, keep an eye on starting lineups, see if there's anything that pops up over the next hour that we could play. But yesterday, hopefully you guys were in the stream yesterday. We gave out 2 picks yesterday. Cashed both of those. Chris Murray over fantasy score we took yesterday. That was pretty much sweat-free. Once it was announced that Chris Murray was going to start for the Blazers, I really liked his over fantasy score, and that pretty much hit sweat-free. And then we paired that with Malik Monk over fantasy score, which was a little bit sweatier. Monk luckily got there in garbage time. I was surprised they played him as much as they did, in a blowout, but he got there in garbage time, went over. So if you guys were in the stream yesterday, tell the slip from yesterday. Hopefully, we can get us another win tonight. Any plays so far? So far, Taryn, there's a couple that I'm looking at that I was kind of liking. So I gave out 5 plays on Patreon today, and all those have bumped insanely, an insane amount. So we took VJ Edgecombe over 27.5 fantasy, and obviously that line got juiced to the moon, after Tyrese Maxey got ruled out. We took 2 overs for the Wolves today. We took Rudy Gobert over 29.5 fantasy. That went up 3 points. We took Dante DiVincenzo over 23.5 fantasy. That went up, 5.5 points. And then the other 2 plays that we gave out were Anthony Davis. That went up a point. We took Najee Marshall over fantasy. That went up 2 points. So a lot of the plays I gave out earlier today on Patreon have bumped a ton. But I was going to try and find a couple more to give out on stream that, hopefully, we could find some value in. And there's a couple spots I'm liking. We'll talk about in a second. You think Indiana will beat the Sixers? Even without Maxey, I still think the Sixers probably win that game. I mean, they still have Paul George. They still have Embiid. So I would still, if I had to bet on that game, if I had to pick a side, I would still take the Sixers. MPJ and Cooper flag for PRA same-game parlays. I mean, you could do that. I always worry about, with the Nets, the Nets just get blown out because they're such a bad team. But it's a 7-point spread. Hopefully the Nets keep it competitive. I have 2 overs on the Mavs today, so I'm hoping the Nets keep it competitive. If you want to run that, you can. I'm talking to my financial advisor, Noah. Am I your financial advisor? I hope I'm not. You like any Grimes props with Maxey out? Those were some that I was looking at. They did get inflated a lot, though. I want to say Grimes, I think his PRA was at 23.5, and it bumped up 4 points after Maxey got ruled out. I mean, Grimes should be a big beneficiary without Maxey. I don't know if he's going to start or if they're going to bring him off the bench. But I mean, Grimes, I feel like his lines have kind of all adjusted now. If you were able to get him before the Maxey news came out, then yeah, those would look pretty good. But right now, where they're at, I feel like they're all kind of priced correctly. I wonder his free throw attempts. Does he? I mean, I feel like Grimes drives a decent amount. He draws fouls. Like, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, like, I think where the lines are at now, they're kind of all priced it correctly in my opinion. Trey Jones over 11.5 points. I'm a little hesitant on Trey Jones. So Trey Jones is on a minutes limit. He's been out for like a couple weeks, I think. He last played on December 1st. And it was reported, I think he was going to be limited to like, I think Underdog tweeted out he was going to be limited to like 24 minutes. Yeah. Isaac Okoro will be limited to 20 minutes. Trey Jones will be limited to 24 minutes. So I would definitely be a little bit hesitant taking overs on Trey Jones. I know Trey Jones, you look at his last few games, he's been playing really well. But obviously it's a totally different situation today, coming back from injury on a minutes limit. I would be a little hesitant there. I think Trey Jones, his points prop was at 12.5 yesterday. And obviously, you know, the market has kind of nuked his lines down. So I'd be a little hesitant there with Trey Jones. Ryan Nembhard assist, 6.5 over. I know Nembhard's had some big assist games lately. I mean, he's historically been a big-time facilitator. He was a big facilitator in college. I mean, his last few games, I want to say he's had like a bunch of potential assists. Let's see. I'm going to pull up his potential assists lately because I know he's been racking up assists. Let's see. So just the last 4 games. I think he has started the last 4 games. How many games has he started now in a row? Just looking at the last 4 games, Nembhard, you know, almost 11 potential assists. 59.8 passes, or 55.3 passes made, most on the team. Leading the team in potential assists too. Like, he's been doing a lot of facilitating for sure. Brooklyn should be a pretty good matchup. I mean, Brooklyn's a bad defensive team. So you would think Dallas could score here. Like, I don't hate the play. I don't hate it. I miss the days, though, you know, not too long ago, like a week ago, we were getting Ryan Nembhard at 3.5 assists. Those days are long gone, sadly. Let's talk about a couple plays that I'm kind of liking for today, and we might try and build out a slip on stream over the next hour. So, one guy that I think is in a really good spot today. I didn't take this on Patreon, but it was definitely a play that I was thinking about taking. I like this spot a lot for Jalen Duren. Atlanta has been really bad defensively against centers this year. They've given up a lot of points in the paint. Without Porzingis, the matchup gets a lot better for Jalen Duren. And I want to say last time Duren faced the Hawks, he had like a huge game. But I'm going to pull it up real quick just to confirm that. Okay, so yeah, he had 21 and 11. He just didn't have a great fantasy game because he didn't get any assists, didn't get any steals or blocks, and he had 3 turnovers. But he had a 20 and 10 double-double last time he faced Atlanta. It was a bad fantasy game because, again, no stocks, no assists. Typically, Duren can get some stocks, though. He can usually get a couple of assists. This matchup should be really good for Jalen Duren. And then the previous time he faced Atlanta this season, he had 45 fantasy points. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. That's a more, normal type performance for Duren, getting some assists, getting some steals and blocks. I like the matchup a lot for Duren. I think he's going to play pretty good minutes. It's a game that should be competitive. He's been a really good per-minute producer this year. Really good rebounder, can score around the rim. That's where Atlanta's been vulnerable this season, especially without Porzingis. Their rim protection's really bad. So I kind of like Jalen Duren, 37.5 fantasy over. I mean, his PRA line, let's see. His PRA line's at 31.5. I feel like if he goes over that, he probably goes over fantasy too. And there's definitely a chance he could go over fantasy but not PRA if he gets like, a couple steals, couple blocks, which he could do. I mean, the last few games, his stocks have been down the last few games, but he's typically a guy that can get a couple stocks. So I like that as a play for today. And then there was another one that I was liking. So without Zach Edey, the Grizzlies have had a really bad defense, and especially against like centers. Their defense, like if you can actually look at the splits, like their defense with Edey on the floor versus without, and it's just like night and day. So I think this matchup is really good for Jusuf Nurkic. And Nurkic's minutes have been pretty solid in games that have been competitive. a lot of games where his minutes get cut are because of blowout. Like last game, he only played 20 minutes, but they lost by 30 points. The game before that, he only played 19 minutes, but they lost by 32 points. But then against Houston, it was an 8-point game. He fouled out in that game, though. Like, you look at Nurkic's minutes, 20, 19, 24, 19, but those were all either blowouts or foul trouble. The game before that against Sacramento, no blowout, no foul trouble, and he played 27 minutes. Assuming we get no blowout here, which the spread's 7.5, I think this game can stay competitive. Assuming we get no foul trouble, I think Nurkic plays like 26 to 28 minutes, and he's historically been like a really good producer from a fantasy point per minute standpoint. He scores, he rebounds, he gets some assists, he gets defensive stats. I like this play a lot. I think it's a really good spot for Nurkic. So these are 2 plays I'm liking for tonight, and then we'll try and find a third one, see if we can do a 3-pick. Again, all the Patreon plays I gave out today have bumped a ton, so I'm not going to put any of those in here. We could take one of my YouTube plays from last night because I think those lines are still available, but I try not to take plays more than once, if I've already played it. So we might try and grab something from the stream, maybe a pick that you guys like, or we can wait for starting lineups to come out and see if there's like a play that we could get from a starting lineup change or something. We'll have to wait and see there. But for now, these 2 plays for sure going in our stream slip, and then we'll try and find one more maybe for a 3-pick. Rebounds plus assist on Grimes. Yeah, I saw that was a popular pick. I'm assuming it's because he's been going over that a lot lately. Yeah. I mean, look, Grimes, he's going to have the ability to facilitate for sure without Maxey. Like, you would think he's going to be one of the primary ball handlers. And then rebounds, it's always tough betting on guards to get rebounds because, like, it's just kind of fluky. Outside of, like, guys like Russell Westbrook and, Josh Hart, like, their rebounds can be they can fluctuate for guards. But I see why you like that play. I mean, it makes sense. He's going to play a lot of minutes for sure. Like, I think there's a good chance Quentin Grimes plays like 36 minutes tonight without Maxey. Is Wemby going to be on a minutes restriction? Well, that game's for tomorrow. I'd assume he is going to be limited, yeah. Wemby's been out for like a couple weeks, so he's most likely going to be limited. I mean, where are they setting his lines at? That'll tell you, Yeah, if they're setting Wemby at 18 points, they're assuming a minutes limit. Wemby's lines would not be set like this if he was playing full minutes, so expect him to be limited tomorrow. During points and rebounds have hit against the Hawks. Yeah, like I said, he had a 20-10 game last time he faced Atlanta. He went under his fantasy, but like I said, typically he's a guy that can get some steals and blocks, can get some assists. How have the Hawks been this year for like steals and blocks? Steals and blocks are, they're fluky. Like, it's tough to predict when you get those type of stats, but it looks like Atlanta, will allow steals and blocks to some degree. So I think Duran's fantasy I like more, but if you want to go with this PR, where's that line at? I assume it's at like 29.5. Yeah, 29.5. That's okay too. Like I said, it's just a really good matchup for Duran, for sure. How are you feeling about your picks today, Noah? And what are your best picks today? I need a 2-man. I mean, right now, if you want a 2-man, these are 2 picks I like right now. I was going to try and find a third, though, and do a 3-pick. And I'm going to wait about 10 minutes, and we should start to get some starting lineups for some of these teams, and maybe we can grab a play from that and add that to this. Dyson Daniels fantasy, that was one that I was looking at, yeah. Dyson Daniels, another guy that's just going to play a lot of minutes. He's a big time steals guy. Like, I'm pretty sure he leads the league in steals. So, like, obviously for fantasy, that's huge when you get those 3 points for steals. I mean, if you look at Dyson, let's see. Look at his game log without Trae Young and without Porzingis. So Dyson has played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's played 10 games without Trae Young and without Porzingis this year. He's over this fantasy line in 6 of those 10 games. Or no, 7, excuse me. 7 of those 10 games. So, I mean, without Trae and without Porzingis, he has a 70% hit rate on this fantasy score going over. And, I mean, if you look at his minutes in those games, 37, 38, 36, 37, 44, 37, 35, 36. Like, he's playing a ton of minutes. Now, he probably will have to guard Cade Cunningham, which could bring some foul trouble risk. But, like, he's going to be out there a ton. And he's a guy that can just kind of do a little bit of everything. So I do like that play on Dyson Daniels. I think the only reason that I didn't take that is because I already took his points prop over in my YouTube video last night. And like I said, I try not to take players multiple times just because there's more risk doing that. You know, taking props more than once. How you feel about Jalen Johnson fantasy? I mean, Jalen Johnson has been destroying his projections lately. Like, fantasy, I know his PRA is the most popular play on Prizepicks today. I don't think the matchup is that great for Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is really good at attacking the rim, scoring at the rim, and Detroit's one of the toughest teams to score on at the rim. In terms of giving up points in the paint, Detroit does a really good job limiting points in the paint. So I actually think this matchup is kind of bad for Jalen Johnson. But does matchup even matter for Jalen Johnson? It might not, because the dude just goes out there and crushes every single night. But the 100K people that are betting his over PRA today, I feel like there might be a letdown there. We'll see. It's one of those props, though, that I wouldn't feel good about if I was taking the over. Okay, we just got the Cavs starting lineup: Garland, Mitchell, Tyson, Hunter, Mobley. So that's as expected. So nothing there, no change there. Anything you like on Underdog? I haven't really looked much on Underdog today. Specifically for their fantasy lines. I could look at those real quick, though. So let's pull this up. So let's see here. I feel like a lot of these lines are similar to Prizepicks for the most part. During they have it 37.55. Also, I don't like Underdog for fantasy because they just don't give out as many lines as Prizepicks does. Prizepicks has way more options. Underdog kind of only does a handful of players. I mean, yeah, these lines are all... Julius Randle, that one's kind of interesting. Because I think Prizepicks has his line at 41, I believe. Where's it at? Yeah, Julius Randle's at 41 on Prizepicks. On Underdog, he's at 39.55. And there's no Anthony Edwards tonight. And if you actually look, Julius Randle without Anthony Edwards has been really good. I think he's played... I'm going to pull it up real quick. So Julius Randle has played 4 games without Anthony Edwards, 43.9, 48, 45.4, 49.2 fantasy. So he's over that line in 4 out of 4 games without Anthony Edwards. And I'm assuming, if you look at his points per minute with Edwards, without, it's a big, it's a drastic change. Let's take a look at this season. So Anthony Edwards, let's go to the Timberwolves. So this season, Randle's at 1.14 fantasy points per minute. Without Anthony Edwards, he jumps up to 1.29. I mean, that's a big bump. So yeah, Randle's a big-time winner with Edwards out. So I do kind of like that on Underdog. I just don't know, about a pair there. I don't really see another play I like to pair with that. But that's an Underdog play I do like for Nate, who was asking. Unders on Wemby in play. I really haven't looked too much at tomorrow's games yet. Like I said, I think his lines are kind of set where they should be, if I had to guess, Wemby probably plays tomorrow. I think he plays 25 minutes, which 25 minutes from Wemby against OKC, 30.5 PRA, that feels about right. I mean, it is a bad matchup, but again, does matchup really matter for Wemby? Probably not. We'll probably get more information tomorrow on Wemby's limit. Like, they'll probably come out with like a specific time or like specific, amount. I'm assuming it's going to be like 24 to 28, somewhere around there. I'd be surprised if he comes back and plays over 30 minutes, but who knows? Maybe he will. It is an NBA Cup game, so it's obviously a more meaningful game. Oh snap! Live Noah, love your pick videos, man. Hey, appreciate that, man. Yeah, we've been trying to go live. I've been doing live streams for about a week now, trying to grow these live streams, trying to just help people out. I love doing these streams, just chatting with you guys, answering questions, talking about NBA. Like, it's fun for me, and I hope you guys get some value out of these live streams. But yeah, I do want to definitely try and grow the streams. I'm trying to get on more of a schedule where I kind of go live at like the same time, but it really depends on the slate and like when the games start. Probably on the weekends I won't be live. Maybe Sunday though. Maybe like Sunday morning we'll go live for NFL, because I haven't really done like a full NFL stream yet. All the streams have been mostly just for NBA. So maybe like Sunday morning, be on the lookout for like a live stream for NFL. We might try that out. Josh Hart 14.5 Demon. Yeah, see, I saw that's another popular play on Prizepicks. I'm assuming like it's just so funny, man. Like people, the Prizepicks user base, like they just love taking the props that are hitting without doing like any research. Which, if that's how you want to play, go for it. But like, for one, Josh Hart, he's never been like a scorer. Like he's kind of on this run where he's been scoring more. I'm assuming it's just kind of like due to efficient shooting, but I'd have to look at his game log. Let's see. Like, I've seen games where Josh Hart plays 36 minutes and shoots the ball 3 times. Like, that's happened before. Like, he's not an aggressive offensive player. But as of late, he's been taking more shots. He's also been shooting pretty efficiently. I mean, 66% from the field, 63%, 50%, 53%, 72%. He's also been shooting really efficiently from 3. 57%, 57%, 60%, 57%. So, like, it's been a lot of efficient shooting for Josh Hart lately. That's obviously due to regress. Orlando's typically not a great matchup. So I think this is another situation where I feel like a lot of these people that are betting Josh Hart Demon points tonight are going to be let down. But if he hits, man, I'm good for all the people that took it. But, like, that's one of those props I just would not be taking personally. Like, I don't really believe in, traps, but I feel like the Prizepicks user base, like the public, they fall into these traps of just taking the props that are hitting and, not thinking about anything else. Like, Jalen Johnson could absolutely go over his PRA tonight, but I will say, like, the matchup's not good. And if he went under, I would not be surprised. What about Sleeper, Noah? I haven't really looked at Sleeper today. I mostly focus on Prizepicks, especially because on Prizepicks they have fantasy score, and that's where I've been able to get the biggest edge. Sleeper used to have fantasy points back in the day, and I loved playing Sleeper when they had fantasy, and then they took it away. So I really haven't looked at Sleeper much today. Some of the props I give out you can take on Sleeper, but like the fantasy scores, obviously you can't take those. But yes, and also with Sleeper, like, there's only a mobile app. Like, they don't have a web version, so I can't really even pull up Sleeper on my computer unless I like linked my phone to my computer, and I obviously couldn't do that right now. I took less on Jalen Johnson because it's too popular. See, I wouldn't be taking stuff like that just because it's popular. But I think the public just, they love to, ride whatever is hot. And obviously Jalen Johnson's hot right now. He's going over his projections like every game, but everybody's due to regress. Like, these, Jalen Johnson's not going to go over his PRA every single game. And I think if there was a game for him to go under, I feel like this could be it, because Detroit, matchup-wise, is not the best spot. But Jalen Johnson's, he's him. I mean, the dude's insane. He's like he's been putting up like 30-point triple doubles like every game. That's interesting. So Michael Porter Jr. points prop was a 24.5 Goblin, and now it's down to 23. Interesting. I just saw that in real time. Do you like Kobe White? over points. I haven't really looked at Kobe White props. I think we just got word he's going to play today. He was on the injury report, but yeah, he should be playing. I will say that if you're into narratives, Kobe White, I believe he's from Charlotte. He's from North Carolina, or he went to college at North Carolina. So he's, it's kind of like a hometown game for him. Homecoming game, I should say. I mean, the matchup I think is fine against Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's defense is obviously not one that we'd really be worried about. I feel like his projections, though, are kind of, priced correctly. If I was going to take I feel like his fantasy score might be better than his points prop. Because he can get some rebounds and assists and some steals sometimes. But yeah, I feel like those lines are kind of, where they should be. Okay, Joel Embiid is available to play. That was as expected. Still waiting on the Sixers starting lineup. We should be getting that any minute now. Ben said he subbed. Appreciate that, Ben. Thank you for subscribing, my man. Kevin Love, 0.5 blocks and steals. Blocks and steals are so tough, man. Like, they're one of the toughest props to project. Like, they're really fluky. I feel like Kevin Love is typically not like a big-time shot blocker, but I'm guessing he's been getting steals and blocks lately. Okay, we're getting some starting lineups. Wizards will start Carrington, McCollum, Champagnie, George, Bagley, so that's as expected. Edgecombe, Grimes, George, Barlow, so it's going to be Grimes starting for Maxey, so that was as expected too. Damn, I was hoping we would get like a curveball. But yeah, so far the lineups are as expected. But yeah, with the Kevin Love thing, I mean, Kevin Love, like, I feel like he's never been like a big-time shot blocker. And like I said, like, steals and blocks are just so tough to predict. That's one of those props, like, I would personally not be playing. Like, I really just don't have much of a take there. You like Dyson Daniels over 11.5 points? I do like that, Billy. That was a prop that I gave out on YouTube last night. And if you want to know why I took that, you could watch that video. We also talked about earlier, Dyson Daniels, he's going to play a ton. And no Porzingis, no Trae Young. He's been pretty good in those minutes that he's played without those two guys. Can't remember, but for Patreon, towards the end of the NFL season, seeing how teams trend, are picks more valuable and easier to dial in on? Towards the NFL season, seeing how teams trend. I mean, typically, like for NFL, it kind of all depends on, each week. You will have like injuries towards the end of the season, which can open up value, because anytime there's injuries, it's going to be harder for the books to project those situations. And if you feel like you have an edge on an injury prop, like thinking a guy maybe plays more than the books are projecting, and whatever it may be, that's a situation where it could be valuable. But typically, like early in the season is when it's more valuable, just because there's less data early in the season. It's more kind of guesswork. There's so much data, as the season progresses. There's just so much data that comes out. How much guys are going to play. For NFL targets, like how many targets a player is going to get. But like I said, injuries can happen. Guys can get thrusted into new roles. That always is going to be a situation where there's going to be some value. Quentin Jackson available to play. Simpson, Khan. Okay, so we got the Hornets starting lineup. It's as expected. Damn, I was hoping we would get like some late injury news, but so far nothing yet. Still waiting on a couple starting lineups. Pistons, I think we're still waiting on. Hawks, we're still waiting on. And I think the Bulls, we're still waiting on the Bulls as well. Evan Mobley rebounds with no Jared Allen. I mean, it's a really good matchup for Evan Mobley. And I want to say that the Wizards have been really bad on the glass this year. The only thing I worry about is just blowout risk in that game. Like, there's definitely a chance that Evan Mobley doesn't play in the fourth quarter. Do they have like a first half rebounds prop for Mobley? Because I think I'd kind of be interested in that if they have it. Okay, they don't have rebounds. What do they have? Fantasy score, PRA, and points. I wish if they had like a first half rebounds at like 4.5 or something. Like I would like that. I think more than his full game, just because I would be worried about blowout there. But it's definitely a spot where Mobley should have success on the glass. I mean, this season, the Wizards, in terms of rebounds allowed to centers, third most rebounds allowed to centers. And then if you look at their rebound percentage as a team, I want to say they have like one of the worst rebound percentages. Yeah, second worst rebound percentage this year. Like, it's a great matchup for Mobley to be able to have success rebounding. And that's probably one of the reasons why his rebounds prop is high. I mean, you can see he hasn't gone over his rebounds prop in any of his last 4 games, but the matchup's really, really good. 4 rebounds. And just overall, the matchup's really good against Washington. Fantasy Score is your favorite prop? I've never took that before. I just started Prizepicks like last month. Yeah, Fantasy Score has been my go-to. So I actually started playing. So if you actually look at my YouTube channel, I've said this before, but I'll say it here for maybe people that don't know. I started this YouTube channel like 9 months ago, or not 9 months ago, 9 years ago. You look at my oldest video, it was on January 23rd of 2017, I believe. So 8 years ago, coming on 9 years. And that was daily fantasy. So daily fantasy is like fantasy scores, basically fantasy points. Like that's what it comes from. So I've been working with fantasy points and fantasy projections for like almost 10 years. So I know how to, how players project for how many fantasy points, what goes into making fantasy point projections. And these are lines that Prizepicks has to create themselves. These are not lines that they can copy from a sports book. So there's always going to be an edge with props like this, Fantasy Score. These are the type of lines that, you can find really good value in. We had injuries break our way, but like we took VJ Edgecombe over 32 fantasy today, or over 27.5 fantasy, and then Maxey got ruled out. His line went up to 32. But even without injury stuff, we get 2, 3, 4 points of value on the Fantasy Score props that we give out on Patreon every day. There's just a huge edge with Fantasy Score. It's like my #1 prop to target. If Prizepicks ever gets rid of Fantasy Score, I'm going to be in shambles because I've made so much money off fantasy scores. I don't think they ever would get rid of fantasy though, because technically Prizepicks is a fantasy app. It's not really like a sports book. So I think they're always going to have fantasy stuff. We just got the Bulls starting lineup: Giddey, White, Okoro, Matas, Vooch. So that's as expected. Still waiting on Hawks and Pistons, and then we'll pretty much have all the lineups for the 7 o'clock games at least. Aldama over 12.5 points. I think Aldama's going to definitely play more tonight without Zach Edey. It's a good matchup. Utah, I want to say Utah gives up like a lot of threes, and that's where Aldama can get some of his scoring from, is like threes. He does shoot threes. I don't think he would start. I think they're going to start Jock Landale in place of Edey, but they could start Aldama. If Aldama starts, I'd feel pretty good about that. If he doesn't start, he still should play a good amount of minutes, and it's a really good matchup. I don't hate that play. If you had him over 12.5, that's solid, because I mean his line's at 13.5 now. Give us 3 fresh props, Noah, and let's lock in. I like Bagley under RA. What about you? Finna fire up this wood. I mean, I took Bagley under rebounds, so I mean under RA probably is fine as well. Like I said, these are 2 props I like. I was hoping we'd get some injury news and I could throw in a 3rd prop. We're still waiting on a couple starting lineups. Once we get those, then I'll put a 3rd prop in with these 2, and that'll be our official stream slip for today. I was looking at Vooch. His fantasy line was at 33.5 earlier today. It got bumped up a point. But again, I already took his PRA, so I didn't really want to double down and take his fantasy too. But that was when I was looking at. I saw someone asked about Jock Landale. Jock Landale, he's typically been like a solid per minute guy. Like when he's on the floor, he can put up stats. I'm assuming he starts in place of Zach Edey. It could be Aldama, but I would think it would be Landale. And if you look at Aldama or Landale this year, let's take a look at his fantasy points per minute. Pacers will start Nimhard, Thompson, Mathurin, Siakam, and Huff, so that's as expected. But Jock Landale's at 0.94 fantasy points per minute. So, I mean, you project him for like 26 to 28 minutes, which I think is probably what he projects for without Edey. I know he started some games this year and has not played a lot of minutes. I'm going to take a look at that real quick. Let's see. So the last game he started, he played 24 minutes. So, I mean, you look at his minutes as a starter, 30, 21, 29, 28, 26, 24. So he's typically in that mid to high 20s range. His fantasy points as a starter have not been great, but this is a really good matchup. Utah's a good matchup for centers. Nurk is not a great defender. So I don't hate the play on Landale's over fantasy. I would want to see him in the starting lineup first, I think, before I pull the trigger on that one. Because there's definitely a chance he could come off the bench, and if he comes off the bench, I would not like that at all. So I maybe wait before for Memphis to put up their starting lineup first before I would take that. We sleeping on VJ Edgecombe. He finna go off tonight. Merchant. Comments never go to him on time. It's so annoying. See, the comments, like, I see all the chats, but I'm trying to catch up with the ones that I missed before I, get to the ones at the bottom. But I'm seeing your comments, OG. And yeah, VJ Edgecombe, I mean, he should play a lot tonight without Tyrese Maxey. There's a chance VJ Edgecombe plays like 37 minutes, 38 minutes. Andre Drummond rebounds. So Joel Embiid's playing. And with Joel Embiid playing, I mean, Andre Drummond's only going to get like 16 minutes, 18 minutes. It's a good rebounding matchup. Prizepicks doesn't have, all they have up for him is a goblin. I would be a little careful. Like, some of these games were without Embiid, so like that's why you see such good production from Drummond. He probably plays like 16, 18 minutes, probably projects for like 7, 8 rebounds. I think his line was, I think I saw his line at 7.5 earlier, which that feels about right, honestly. Noah Brunson and SGA points. Is that, yeah, that's for tomorrow. I haven't even looked at the games for tomorrow, so I really can't comment there. I should have a video for tomorrow, though. I should give out a couple plays for the NBA Cup games tomorrow. But yeah, I haven't looked at the slate for tomorrow yet, so I don't really want to comment there. Thoughts on Curry fantasy? Yeah, so Curry's coming back from injury, which has me a little cautious. Always, it's always I'm always a little cautious betting on guys coming back from injury because like there's always some minutes uncertainty. His projections are set like he's playing pretty full minutes. Minnesota, I want to say, is not the greatest matchup for Steph. He's going to have to deal with Jaden McDaniels, who's a really good defender. I feel like his lines are set kind of correctly. It's not like, if we were getting a little bit of a discount on him because of the injury, I would like it more. But like they're pricing his lines pretty full, so I'm hesitant to take overs there. Okay, we just got the Pistons starting lineup: Cunningham, Duncan Robinson, Thompson, Harris, and Duren. So that's as expected. So it looks like we got all the lineups for the 7 o'clock games, and there was no, surprises. So let's try and find one more play that we can lock in for this stream slip. I'm looking at the fantasy lines. A lot of the fantasy lines today are pretty accurate. I like the Dyson one, but again, I didn't want to bet on Dyson again, since I already took his points prop. Let's see. I kind of like the Landale one, but again, I would want to wait and make sure he's starting before I took that. It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, Julius Randle has been really good without Anthony Edwards, but his lines are, they are higher on Prizepicks. Like Underdog has him at 39.5. If he was at 39.5 on Prizepicks, I would definitely take that. But at 41, it's like, I don't know. But he does have a 100% hit rate on that line without Anthony Edwards. This is tough. It's tough. I mean, I might just say fuck it and just take the Julius Randle over. because a lot of these other ones look pretty sharp to me. Yeah, I think we might do that as our third pick. Just trust what Julius Randle has done without Edwards. Like the history's there. He's got the production. Like his fantasy points per minute go way up without Edwards. This could definitely be the game where he fails, but he's been really good with Edwards off the floor. So I think we're gonna roll with this. This will be our official stream slip today. Gonna go ahead and lock this in for my $5. For those of you that maybe think like I can't play more than $5, like that I'm bullshitting, like I can literally show you. If I try and put $10 on this, it literally doesn't work. If I try and put $6 on this, it doesn't work. But when I go to $5, it does work. So there you go. Got our $5 in. I would say if you're like playing units here, this would probably be like a quarter of a unit. So like if you're like a $10 unit player, I'd put like $2.50 on this. If you do like $100 units, I'd probably put like $25 on this. 3 picks are always going to be a little dicier just because you need 3 picks to hit. You're betting a plus 500 parlay, so it's not a lock, it's not a guarantee. But we discussed why I like these plays, and I do feel good about these. The only thing that I worry about is that I do already have, on Patreon, we gave out 2 overs on the Timberwolves, and now we have another guy on the Timberwolves. Like, if the Timberwolves get blown out tonight, I'm going to be screwed because I have basically 3 overs on the Timberwolves. But I will say that the 2 that we took earlier, I mean, we got really good value on those. So those are pretty much, they're good regardless. But yeah, this will be our official stream slip for today, guys. We went 2-0. We hit our 2 pick that we gave out yesterday. So let's see if we can run it back, hit this 3 pick. I got $100 best 2-man. I mean, if you got $100, for one, don't put all $100 on one pick. Like, if you have $100 to play with, try and make that $100 last. There's way too many people that, like, they'll put in $100 into Prizepicks and they'll literally just bet it all in one day. They'll lose it and then they'll just deposit $100 again. Like, try and actually build a bankroll. Like, take $100 and then try and build that up. So do like $5 bets, $10 bets, maybe. Like, if you have like $100, like, I would not be just betting all that on one slip. Just some advice. You don't have to listen to me. I mean, but I just try and give some advice. That's all I do. Bro types fast as fuck. I've been typing a lot my whole life, especially since I started doing this. It's crazy, like, the stuff I type, I pretty much type it, like, every day. Looking up game log, like, I type game log probably 50 times a day. These are your most confident 2. I mean, of those 3, yeah, the top 2 I'd like the most. PG should go off against his old team, right? I mean, without Maxey, he's definitely going to pick up more usage and more opportunity. And I want to say, last game, PG did get like over 30 minutes. So he's playing close to full minutes now. He's not quite there, but he did get 30 minutes, 32 minutes the last 2 games. I want to say Paul George has been pretty good without Maxey. I could probably look at that real quick. Let's see. Paul George, 76ers game log without Maxey. So it looks like he's played 7 games without Maxey. He's actually been pretty shit. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 15, 3 and 9, 29, 10 and 3. So that was a good game. 13, 4 and 5, 18, 6 and 5, 2, 6 and 4, 7, 7 and 6. But I mean, he's taken 13 shots, 18 shots, 19 shots. Like he's chucking. He's just not really shooting well in those games. The role should be good though for Paul George. He should definitely benefit without Maxey. Love how you interact with every comment, bro. This is why I fuck with you, even when you chalk us. Sometimes we know you meant no harm. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Look, I wish I could hit every single day. I wish I could give you guys winning picks every single day, and we'd all be millionaires. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, sadly. But I try and do the best I can, give you guys the best value, give you the information on why I like the plays. So even on the days when we do lose, and there will be plenty of days where we lose, because you're going to lose when you gamble, the goal is to win more than you lose over the long run. But even on the days when we lose, hopefully, you find value in the props, in the plays, in the content. Like, I don't just say, oh, I like this play because it's hit the last 5 games. Like, that's just the most basic, elementary stuff. Like, I try and dive a little bit more deeper into it. And I really enjoy just sports in general. Like, I've been a sports fan my whole life. So I love looking into the analytics, the stats, and really just trying to find an edge. Like, that's what I enjoy. Quentin Post does well without Draymond. I haven't looked at any Quentin Post props. Okay, for the person that was asking, Victor Wembanyama will have a minutes limit if he plays on Saturday. So that was, I can't remember who asked about that, but yeah, Victor Wembanyama is going to be limited tomorrow. But I haven't looked at Quentin Post without Draymond. Let's take a look at that. How do you spell his name? Quentin Post. Is he not? Did I not spell that right? Or has he not played a game without Draymond? I didn't spell it right. How do you spell it? Quinten. 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 Now let's see if we get something. Yeah, he's definitely had some good games without Draymond. 19-point game, 12-point game, 9, 19. Really, I want to look at the minutes. How many minutes was he playing? The last 4 games without Draymond, 26 minutes, 28 minutes, 32 minutes, 26 minutes. So that's good to see for Quentin Post. It's a bad matchup, but he's been getting pretty good minutes in the games without Draymond. Has Draymond missed a game this season? I think he has. I think he's been out the last 2 games, actually. Yeah. So, I mean, the last 2 games without Draymond, yeah, he's played 28 and 26 or 26 and 32 minutes. And then there was 2 games. There was actually a couple games in November he missed 26 minutes, 28 minutes. Did he start this game and play 16 minutes, or did he come off the bench? Let's see. So he started that game, played 16 minutes. That's a little concerning. But the minutes have been good for Post lately without Dre. I just don't think the matchup's that great for Post. And Steve Kerr, like, you can never trust Steve Kerr. Like, he could... Who's even their backup? I know Al Horford's out, so, like, who even else do they have? Trace Jackson Davis? Like, is that their backup center right now? I guess it's TJD. I want to say Kuminga's been out of the rotation. Like, he hasn't even been playing. So it seems like Steve Kerr has trust in Post right now. But, like, I never trust Steve Kerr. Like, he'll play anybody. He'll pick a dude out of the stands and tell him to check in. Like, he runs the craziest rotations. There is nothing consistent about a Steve Kerr rotation. I have $50 to play with in terms of how to bet. How do I build that up to something bigger? Well, if you have $50, Riley, I would be betting, like, only a couple dollars. Like, if you're really trying to build a bankroll there. And when I say play a couple dollars, I mean you play a couple dollars, you maybe play like 1 or 2 slips a day. Like, you don't play a couple dollars but then play 10 slips, Unless, it depends on the value you're getting, obviously. If you're getting slips that have good value, then, play them. But if you have $50 in your Prizepicks account, I would be betting very small amounts. Like, a couple bucks on a slip. If you're okay with just redepositing, putting in 50, you play 50 and you lose it and you redeposit. If you're okay doing that, then go ahead, you do you. But I'm trying to help people like build a bankroll. Easiest way to do that is to scale down your bets and find an amount that you can afford to play every day. So if you have $50, really you should only be playing like a couple bucks a day. And when if you lose, you have a losing day, don't chase that bet. Like, don't try and find another slip to play and win your money back, because that's just how you lose more money. I see a lot of people do that. They chase their losses. That's one of the dumbest things you can do in betting. Never chase your losses. Like it's okay to just accept that, you lost money today. Because when you chase your losses, you're just betting with your emotions. You're not betting with any sort of data or analysis or, looking for an edge. Like, you're just betting, just trying to win your money back. And I'd assume more times than not, when you chase your losses, you wind up losing more money. Just some words of advice. I'm probably going to answer just a few more questions, guys, and we're going to wrap up the stream here because we've been live for about an hour. And I still haven't ate dinner yet, and I'm fucking starving. Quentin Grimes can shoot threes so he can hit outside and inside shots. Oh, are you talking about... Yeah, we talked about his free throw attempts. Yeah, I want to say Grimes will drive to the basket a little bit and draw some fouls. I wonder what he's done without Maxey in terms of free throw attempts. Let's take a look at that. That'll be our last thing we look at before we wrap up the stream. Oh, damn. Austin Reeves to miss 1 week. Oh, damn. That sucks. They don't have props up for the Lakers, do they? They do have props up for the Lakers. Oh, but all they have is LeBron. Honestly, I kind of like this, guys. Take LeBron over 19.5 points for Sunday because Austin Reeves is out. There's some value there for sure. I would grab that. That line probably gets bumped at least like a point or two. It won't go up a ton, but I think it will go up a point or two. Let's take a look at... Let's look at this real quick. LeBron game log without Reeves. He's played a lot of games. Can I look at games with Luka and without Reeves? With Luka and without Reeves. Will it do this for me? See, I feel like... Let's see. Luka joined the team last year. I want to say Luka probably played in these games in March last year. Yes, he did. He played in that game. So last two games with Luka and without Reeves, 34 points for LeBron, 17 points, but 17 points on 6 for 17 shooting. Yeah, so there's a good pick, guys. I wasn't sure. I don't know why we just randomly got that news on Austin Reeves. But yeah, Reeves is out Sunday, so LeBron over 19.5 points I think is pretty good. They're going to take this off the board at some point. Why is LeBron... Why do his props look like this? I have no idea. Reeves wasn't, injured, was he? He wasn't on the injury report or anything. Not to my knowledge. Yeah, he's not on the injury report, so... Interesting. So if you played the stream slip earlier, you technically could... I don't love doing it, but you could double down, take the stream slip again, and put LeBron in there. Or take one of the plays out and put LeBron in there. Because I think that is a good play for Sunday. If I had to guess, this line will go up to probably 21.5 or 22.5. So get that in. Austin Reeves out Sunday. There's value there. But alright guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Appreciate you guys watching, man. We went live for about a full hour today. Yeah, so there you go. 2-point bump. Hopefully somebody got it. That's why you join these streams, man. We give out the value. LeBron could go under on Sunday, but if you got it at 19.5, you got value, and that's all that matters. In the long run, when you're betting plays that have value, you'll make money. So hopefully somebody in the chat grabbed that LeBron prop before it got bumped. But alright guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I might stream on Sunday for NFL. I might do a morning stream at 10 o'clock Eastern or 11 maybe, something like that. I don't know yet though. It'll be kind of to be determined. But have a great weekend, guys. Hopefully we all make some money tonight, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.